Underlying love, beneath the surface it lies, in the whispers of secrets and unspoken ties, caught between the heart's gentle tug and the dance of romance, in the arms of love.
You are listening to Bradley Barkhurst's Underlying Love, a Worthington, Ohio mystery. Chapter 12, Part 1. The Christmas Crystal Ball. December had arrived in Worthington, with cold air and flurries portending snowier days ahead. As Christmas break neared, Elizabeth's students grew restless with holiday excitement. She couldn't blame them. A respite sounded welcome to her, too. On this frosty Saturday afternoon, she sat sipping Earl Grey tea at Betty's when the phone rang. Betty answered it, her voice rising in elation as she talked. Finally, hanging up, she exclaimed,
"Goodness gracious."
Turning to Elizabeth, she continued,
"That was Mary Jo the librarian. They found my Jell-O recipe tucked away in the new Jell-O book of surprises that I borrowed. The recipe card is waiting at the library for me."
Betty clasped her hands joyfully.
Now I can make my famous Jell-O recipe for the Christmas gathering after all. What a relief.
Elizabeth smiled, knowing how vexed her friend had been over the missing recipe card.
"I'm so glad they located it for you, Betty. Your party will be a hit now with your signature dessert."
Bless the library staff for taking the time to find it.
Betty replied gratefully. She hurried to fetch her coat and hat.
Let's pop over there right now and collect it before more time slips away.
Amused by her neighbor's urgency, Elizabeth readily agreed it was worth braving the December chill. She knew this rediscovered recipe would bring Betty great comfort and joy during the holidays ahead. As Elizabeth and Betty walked to the library, they passed the village green, where folks were stringing lights on the big Christmas tree and assembling the nativity scene. Soon, they would add the live animals around the manger tableau before the annual tree lighting. Arriving at the library, Mary Jo the librarian stood waiting with a smile.
"I have that missing recipe card all ready for you, Betty."
Betty hurried over and took the card excitedly.
Oh, bless you, dear. I've been hunting for this for months. My famous Jell-O recipe is back on the menu.
"We're so glad we could locate it for you."
Mary Jo replied.
"It was tucked away in the Jell-O book you borrowed."
Well, thank the Lord for diligent librarians,
Betty declared.
Now I can make my dessert for the Christmas gathering after all.
Elizabeth enjoyed seeing how happy her neighbor was to recover the cherished recipe in time for the holidays. Leaving the library, the scent of fresh pine wafted from the village green, where more carolers had gathered to decorate the tree. The recipes, decorations, and carols were all joyful harbingers of the approaching Christmas spirit. With the rediscovered recipe card in hand, Betty and Elizabeth walked home, practically humming a cheerful tune under their breath. The next day, Elizabeth was passing a quiet Sunday afternoon at home when a frantic knocking startled her. She opened the door to a panicked Betty.
The Japanese, they've bombed Hawaii.
Betty cried breathlessly.
It's all over the radio, come quick.
Alarmed, they rushed to Betty's house, just as a news announcer described how the U.S. Navy fleet at Pearl Harbor had been decimated by Japanese bombers, with only a few ships escaping destruction. As the terrifying reports continued, another hurried knock came. It was Samuel, who had sped over as soon as he heard.
"How are you ladies holding up?"
He asked, with deep concern, embracing a shaken Elizabeth.
We're in utter shock.
Elizabeth replied.
Just this morning, all seemed calm. Now war has reached us,
The world will never be the same.
said Samuel. Darkness and conflict had engulfed their nation too. Elizabeth clutched Samuel's hand tightly, afraid, yet resolute. They would stand united to combat tyranny, no matter the tumultuous days ahead. As night fell, Worthington's future seemed so tenuous. But Elizabeth drew courage, knowing she did not stand alone. Linking arms, she and Samuel bid Betty goodnight, their solidarity bolstering their spirits. Whatever tomorrow held, they would face it together. Feeling the need for company after the devastating news, Elizabeth invited Samuel over, not wanting to be alone on such a painful day. As dusk fell earlier with the recent daylight savings change, she made a simple dinner of chicken, which they ate quietly, the weight of events heavy on their minds. After tidying up, Samuel offered.
Here, let me build us a fire.
He neatly stacked kindling in the hearth, while Elizabeth poured glasses of sweet red wine. Snowflakes started to come down outside as she pulled down the blinds. Turning on the radio, they were met with more chilling updates from Pearl Harbor. Elizabeth hastily switched stations until the soft notes of a song called Ohio Snowfall were heard playing on the radio instead of the news.
Oh, this song is new.
Samuel remarked as he settled on the couch next to her, handsome in his sweater. Elizabeth passed him a wine glass and savored a sip, comforted by his presence. As the mellow music filled the space, the tension of the day dissipated slightly. Curled beside Samuel, gazing at the flickering fire, the horrors unfolding outside Worthington's borders felt temporarily at bay. Today, their nation had been attacked, but tonight they took respite in the tranquil scene. Snow drifting down, fire crackling, music swirling softly. No matter what lay ahead, they would face it arm in arm. Curled together as the snow fell softly outside, Elizabeth gazed at Samuel.
You've brought my world back to life since you returned?
She said tenderly. Samuel cradled her face, meeting her eyes.
And you've reawakened life in me, Elizabeth.
They sipped their wine slowly before Samuel leaned in, kissing her deeply as everything else slipped away for a blissful moment. They held onto each other on the couch, with Samuel pulling up a warm winter blanket over them. Eventually, they drifted off by the fire as the snow continued falling gently.
Snowflakes fall in Ohio nights, softly blanketing the city white, in the glow of the street lights' hue. I'm dreaming of a love that was true. Hearts once warm, now cold as ice, lost in the silence of paradise. Through the window pane I watch it all, Ohio snowfall, my teardrops fall. Oh, Ohio snowfall.
In the morning, Elizabeth awoke to the alarm next to her bed. Samuel had already gone. He must have carried her to her bed at some point in the night. Getting ready for school, Elizabeth took in the serene, snow-covered trees outside. But in class, the children were filled with questions about the attack. Little Amy looked especially downcast.
What happens now?
She asked sadly.
I don't know, sweetheart, I don't know.
Elizabeth replied with her head down. At lunch, the teachers gathered to hear Roosevelt's address to the nation. His fiery words made clear war was imminent. Elizabeth's heart sank realizing that Samuel was right. The world would never be the same. Leaving school after classes, she stopped by the bulletin board where notices had been posted about rationing and air raid preparations. Worthington, like the rest of America, was girded for battle. Elizabeth sighed, her breath a wispy cloud. Dark days lay ahead. But the snow-cloaked calm reminded her that light and hope endured if one just knew where to look for it.
Thank you for listening to Bradley Barkhurst's Underlying Love, a Worthington, Ohio mystery. Be sure to like and subscribe and purchase the book. How will Elizabeth and Samuel continue to find solace in each other's company as the war progresses? Will Elizabeth's investigation get sidetracked now that war has broken out? And will Betty find her missing Jell-O recipe? Oh wait, she did find it, but what is the dish? And will it taste delicious? Keep listening to the next episode of Underlying Love, a Worthington, Ohio mystery. Chapter 12, Part 2, The Christmas Crystal Ball.